Welcome to the Week 10 edition of the HotFantasyFootballPicks.com video blog. Thursday games kick off in the NFL this week. Baltimore at Atlanta. The health of Roddy White's knee on a short week is going to be something to watch. He's questionable coming in after banging his knee on the turf last week. Key matchup, Ray Rice versus Atlanta's number 6 ranked rush defense. We like the Ravens' secondary receiving options in this one. Derek Mason, Todd Heap, as Anquan Boldin is going to be shadowed by Dante Robinson all game. Ed Reed has 3 picks in 2 games since his return from the PUP list. Our game prediction is Baltimore. Carolina at Tampa Bay. We'd start LeGarrette Blount in this one. Tampa Bay figures to employ a ball control rushing attack in this one. Carolina has been ravaged by injuries. They placed their starting cornerback, 2 starting linebackers, and their starting right tackle on injured reserve this week. Not to mention, both their top running backs will likely be out. Mike Goodson is likely to start. Our prediction is Tampa in a landslide. Cincinnati at Indianapolis. Austin Collie out with a concussion suffered last week. Key matchup will be Reggie Wayne and Pierre Garçon versus Cincinnati's corners Leon Hall and Jonathan Joseph. Player to watch is Jacob Tamme. With those receivers going against those top cornerbacks, Jacob Tamme should be open down the middle of the field quite often. We'd start Cedric Benson against Indy's 29th ranked rush defense. Our prediction is Indianapolis. Next game, Detroit at Buffalo. Shaun Hill is expected to start after fracturing his forearm several weeks ago. Matt Stafford is out. We'd start Javid Best. Bills are giving up a league worst 178 yards rushing per game. We'd start Ryan Fitzpatrick and Steve Johnson in this one. Detroit's secondary is not much better than Buffalo's. This one has all the makings of a shootout, and we like Detroit. Houston at Jacksonville, another potential shootout. Jacksonville is 28th in the NFL in pass defense. Houston is 32nd. We'd start Matt Schaub, David Garrard, Mike Sims-Walker, Andre Johnson, pretty much any offensive skill player for either team. Jags will probably target Texans cornerback Kareem Jackson, who's been picked on relentlessly the past few weeks. Look for Mike Thomas to exploit that matchup. Our prediction is Houston. Minnesota at Chicago, possible return of Sidney Rice. It's looking likely that he'll return to action this week. He'll likely be limited though. Brett Favre coming off his best game of the season, throwing for 446 yards. Jay Cutler has just a 4-to-6 touchdown interception ratio at home this season. We'd avoid him. Matt Forte has received over 17 carries just 1 time this year, and he's only received 32 carries the past 3 weeks, which is an alarming trend. Our prediction is Minnesota. Jets at Cleveland. Cleveland's coming off an impressive victory over New England. While the Jets have struggled in 3 consecutive games, mostly due to Mark Sanchez's play, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks in his last 4 games. Player to watch is Peyton Hillis. He had over 200 total yards last week. Jets will pose a little bit tougher matchup than New England, however. We like the Jets in this one. Tennessee at Miami. Chad Pennington gets his first start since 2009 in favor of Chad Henne. Randy Moss, his first game as a Titan. Our key matchup is Nate Washington versus Sean Smith. Sean Smith was relegated to special teams duty earlier in the year, and now he's been elevated back into the starting lineup. We look for Washington to hit on a big play or 2 in this one. Al Harris has been signed to replace former starter Jason Allen for Miami. Our prediction is Tennessee. Keeping it going, Kansas City at Denver. Broncos coming off a bye, which means no Sean Moreno should be as healthy as he's been all season. Chiefs, they're facing the challenge of winning down the stretch with a young team. They started off hot, but they look to be coming back down to reality a little bit here. We'd sit Dwayne Bowe against Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey has played at an all-pro level this year. Key matchup is Brandon Lloyd versus Brandon Flowers. Brandon Flowers is one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the NFL, and Brandon Lloyd is having an unbelievable season, so that should be a fun matchup to watch. Our prediction is Denver. Giants at Dallas. We'd start Ahmad Bradshaw, Akeem Nicks, Eli Manning. Dallas has pretty much given up on defense the past few weeks. We'd avoid all Dallas running backs. Dallas, this is their first game with Jason Garrett as head coach. Wade Phillips fired earlier in the week. Des Bryant has 16 catches in 2 games with John Kitna at quarterback. So he's pretty much the only person we have faith in on Dallas' offense at this point. Our prediction is the Giants. Seattle at Arizona. Matt Hasselbeck is expected to return for Seattle after sitting out last week with a concussion. Starting left tackle Russell Okung is expected to return as well from an ankle sprain. We'd sit Beanie Wells. He's had swelling in his surgically repaired knee. and he only had 1 carry last week. It looks like they're hiding something there, so we keep away from Wells pretty much for the remainder of the season. Our prediction is Seattle. St. Louis at San Francisco. Expect heavy rushing attacks from both teams. Steven Jackson, Frank Gore. Troy Smith is expected to start for San Francisco at quarterback. Both teams should be fresh coming off a bye. Vernon Davis needed the extra week to heal after leaving Week 8 with a sprained ankle. Game prediction is San Francisco. New England at Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. Tom Brady's dealing with a sprained foot. Shouldn't keep him out of action, but it could limit him a little bit during the game. Wes Welker has been held under 54 yards receiving in every game since Randy Moss was dealt. Steelers left tackle Max Starks is out for the season, joining right tackle Willie Colon on the shelf, which means Roethlisberger will be without both his starting tackles for the remainder of the season. Our key matchup is Pittsburgh's wide receivers versus New England's young cornerbacks, and our prediction is Pittsburgh. Monday Night Football, we've got Philly at Washington. Donovan McNabb expected to start for Washington. We expect him to play the full game, but with Mike Shanahan, you never know. The health of Redskins running backs, Ryan Terrain, has been a little bit hobbled as he tries to return from a hamstring injury. We look for Kylan Williams to see some more action. Clinton Portis is close to returning, but he's not expected to play this week. Key matchup is Deshaun Jackson versus D'Angelo Hall. Jackson has had several big plays this season, but so has Hall. Should be fun to watch. Eagles free safety Nate Allen not expected to play with a neck injury, but we like Philadelphia. So there it is. Check us out, hotfantasyfootballpicks.com. Sign up for our free weekly newsletter containing our weekly picks. Follow us on Twitter, and post your lineup questions on our forum. Good luck this week.